run your mouth, bitch. Yo, we out of our minds. Run your mouth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Run Your Mouth podcast. We're here in the home studio, baby. We got almost a full crew. Nice to have everybody here. Welcome, Mr. Harrington. How you doing? All right, perfect. He's engaged. He's on board. He's ready to go. He's focused. That's our producer extraordinaire. And back, missing in action for a long time. He was out on an acid trip. He got lost in the woods or something. You were hanging out with sheep. Tell us the backstory. Where you been for a month? We missed you, buddy.
I got the flu. I was sick, and it was really cold for a while. I almost did acid. You know, sometimes when I'm sick, I like to do drugs. When I got this infection in my arm, I fucking tripped on acid and just watched it heal.
And that's the medical advice from Joseph Roberts of no matter what's wrong with you, take some acid. I had an interesting day today. I think you guys will appreciate this. This is what I love about New York City. I was biking into work today. A little bit cold for biking in. Were you outside at all today? It was kind of cold day.
It's fucking freezing. I'm so glad I have a car.
Oh, yeah. Cars are nice.
Yeah.
I'm not as wealthy as you are, Joseph Roberts, so I'm a real working man. I got a bike to work. So I'm biking into work, and I go to make a left turn, and some fat dude on one of those motorized scooters just rear ends my back tire, right?
What?
Rear ends my back tire, falls over on his scooter. He's fat, so he's fine. It just
That's
gets
hilarious.
like it gets absorbed. But like it was a pretty nasty crash, right?
What happened to you?
I was fine, man. Like
you fell?
No, I didn't fall. He like rear-ended me at the backside of my turn and then kind of just fell over because he was like a fat, uncoordinated guy. And then he started to yell at me, so I stopped and I was like, great little New York City moment. We're yelling at each other on a corner. He's like, you got to watch yourself. I was like, dude, you're behind me. I have the right of way. You're in my fucking blind spot. Don't ride in my blind spot, you fucking idiot.
You hit me from behind.
You hit me from behind. You rear-ended me. And he's like, well, you got to wait. I was like, no, you're in back of me. And then finally he shut up and I went to ride and my tire was wrecked.
Oh.
Wrecked. The guy wrecked my fucking tire. But
well, it was electric.
I might have done something, but I didn't realize that my tire was wrecked until I, started biking off.
What would you have done?
Probably nothing. Let's be honest.
I would have beat him to death.
No, I wouldn't beat it.
Welcome to New York.
If the guy wrecked my whole bike, I might have been like, hey, man, you owe me for the bike. No, this was, all right, let's call the cops.
Yeah?
Let's call the cops. He just rear-ended me. Great. I'll wait for the cops to come.
Wow.
I might have.
Yeah? You would have blocked his way?
I don't know if I would have been that aggressive. It depends on how much. This is not that nice of a bike. But if I had a real nice bike and a guy got testy with me, I might chase him down. Little fat guy in a scooter. I wouldn't even need the bike. I could just take off running and give him a good shove. And
hell yeah. You need an excuse. Just give me an excuse to chase somebody down.
Yeah. Sometimes that's more of it. Also, I would love to get into a fight while wearing my my snowboard helmet. How do you lose a fight wearing a full helmet?
You gotta take the helmet off if you're gonna fight
What,
someone.
for a fair fight? No, you grab them by the shirt and you give them an upwards head.
Oh my god!
Smash their face into a helmet.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Seriously,
I'm surprised there are not more like helmet headbuttings in the city.
You mean because
like instead of slashings, they're more like, yeah, this guy came and broke my fucking nose.
Yeah, you would think you'd hear more of those stories. You know why? Because I bet people who are getting into fights with helmets are not that slick of a fighter to think, hey, let me fucking headbutt someone.
Well, I tell you,
my helmet on.
A boxing parry for like a jab is just dropping your head down like that.
Right.
And so if you got a helmet on, that's even more effective.
Yeah, because you can smash someone's hand, potentially.
Right at the top of your skull or helmet.
No, that's what I was saying is my move, if I was wearing my helmet and I wouldn't headbutt someone straight, I would grab their shirt, bend my head down, top of the helmet into their nose.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. The old Odell Beckham launching missile.
Yeah. Fuck somebody up real good. All right. Yeah. So here's what I love about New York City. Harrington, you with me here? We'll get there eventually. Sir. We're just getting warmed up. We're getting that. We were off for a week. We're getting the tires slowly turning.
We got a rowdy bunch of people in the other room. I can't be leaving this mic on just all willy-nilly.
Oh, yeah, but you know what? Before I continue the story, shout out to the HSR guys and congratulations to them on their victory in the purchasing of a margarita mixer for the Gas Digital Network.
Hell yeah.
And we have the honor. We're on after the HSR guys, so I think moving forward, Thursday nights are going to be margarita nights at the Gas Digital Network. And while we're not officially on the network, we're like the late night shift. You just turned off my mic. Really, really killing it on the
I didn't turn off your mic.
Oh no, I hit the cough button because I coughed. I thought this was my mic.
the ghost of Ralph was censoring me. That's what happened.
Just the thought of you being on his network, shut down your mic.
Exactly. Just the proposition of being affiliated in any way other than working here professionally.
So is this my cough button right here? All right.
No, that seems to shut down the whole table.
This is mine, and this is. Hey, you say something.
Hey, what? I demand a platform.
I have censorship over the podcast now.
Why does his cough button cough up my?
Because you're over
that's not
here,
his
man.
cough button.
Oh,
You're on mic 2.
well, I don't like that we gave Joseph Roberts this kind of. Look at this.
Yeah. I think things are great. Let's continue on with the podcast.
How is this going to work? I feel like the second I get into something.
Honestly, I'm really excited about the new changes in the podcast.
Censored again.
This is really great.
How is this going to work, Mike Harrington? I can't even hear myself. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, this is a really nice change. I'm really excited about things.
So, Joseph, what did you bring to the table today?
Hey, this is
I
my
brought-
show. Why on my show you're going to censor me like this?
This is just a new direction. I like it. What did I bring? I brought weed. I've been smoking it.
All right, and I'm back. It's only 5 seconds that it cuts me off for, so I'm going to try and get this in the 5-second spurts, so just don't cut me off again. I'm going to get this one in. All right, so here's what's great about New York City. I went to this bike store, right, and I just fucked up my bike. Now, what's nice is it's not like you got to ride 10 miles. It's not like being in the suburbs. There's a bike.
Use Google Maps the closest
I
one.
didn't even need to. I knew that there was one up the street, so I show up with my bike, and I was like, hey, man, can you take a look at this for me? And he goes, what happened? And I go, this fucking motherfucker here. But any other place in the world, they would look at you and be like, this guy's a maniac. We have to call the cops. But in New York City, they're like, wait, what the fuck did that guy do to your bike? And I'm like, I'm just biking, and this fucker smashes into me. And he goes, you got to be careful for those Mexican guys and their fucking scooters. And then the other guy's like, yeah, those fucking scooters are heavy. They shouldn't even be in those bike lanes. And I'm like, that's what I've been saying. We got to go after these motherfuckers in the bike lanes.
That's true. I love that you went to a place and just got nothing but like support. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't go here just to get my bike fixed. I came here to get fucking verbal pleasure. You know
what?
Help me fuck this guy.
That should be like my new. I can't afford a psychiatrist. Maybe I should just show up there a couple minutes in and out of work and yell about some random shit, and they'll stand there and be like, "Yeah, your boss does suck, and yeah, you gotta fire that chick."
As long as it's in the bike lane.
You mean just everything has to happen in the bike lane?
I mean, if you're at a bike shop, I don't know why they'd give a fuck about your life.
No, I think they're just like that New York attitude. They're like, this guy's.
they're bikers. They're assholes. Of course, they're on your side about that biking stuff.
Wait, I feel like you're saying like bikers.
If you went
like,
to a tire
yeah.
shop that was like made for fucking auto bodies, you know, no one would be like, hey, you need to keep, you know, they'd be like, hey, keep your ass in the bike lane, you know. I don't know. I feel like they're on your side because they're a bunch of biking bitches like you.
Right, as long as it's biking related. So if I can just tie biking into it, like, I broke up with this chick, and like they look at you like, what? But it was on a bicycle. Then they...
yeah, she broke up with me on my tandem bike. And they'd
Right.
be like, what a whore.
Yeah.
That fucking bitch.
Then they'd support it. The other thing that happened to me today, which was wicked creepy, is I got a brand new computer at my job. They were nice enough. They gave me a computer to use.
Nice.
And the first time I logged into my Gmail, I got a letter from Gmail going, hey, we noticed that you're on a brand new computer, and we wanted to tell you about Google Chrome, which is the faster browser than Internet Explorer. How the fuck did they know that I was on a brand new computer? How did they know that?
Yeah, maybe like the newer computers have different IP addresses or something.
No, but they knew that I was an Internet Explorer, and like I'm a Gmail guy, and they're like angling in, Harrington, I feel like you got something on this.
It's Google. Like, they are Big Brother. They know everything.
Yeah. That's creepy.
It's not that creepy. It's like the
come
world
on.
we signed up to give away our privacy.
Yeah, you accepted the rights.
All right, you guys want to take Google's side on this? Fine. I didn't realize.
It's just.
I didn't realize how pro Google you were. You know,
what do you want me to be?
First you censor me, then you go on the side of big tech.
I don't know. What am I supposed to be surprised or something? Like this is big like shocker. Yeah, they know what internet supporter you're on.
All right, I like it. Okay, now before we get into some of the bigger news of the week, I got some housekeeping issues I'd like to address. I want to get into a little housekeeping. So we got a full frontal assault there's a lot of you guys, you're listening out there. We've grown the numbers over, I want to say we've probably done a year and a half, maybe two years of episodes. Joseph Roberts has been with us for about the last 10. You missed the last 5, but, for the last 10, he's kind of considered himself a part of the show. Harrington, you've been here for 6 or 7 episodes. We're growing our operation, and do us a favor. If you're listening to the show, recommend it to a few of your pals. Write us a nice review. Tell us about how much you like Joseph Roberts, and I don't know, what else can they do for us, Mike Harrington?
Yeah, Mike.
Just rate and review. I mean,
Rate and
that's the
review.
biggest thing. That boosts you up the charts.
Do us too about the review. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Just make it nice.
Fuck, make it inflammatory.
Well, you can make it inflammatory, but give us the 5 stars. You can
5 stars is what's important.
Give us the 5 stars. They then say something insulting,
and make it cut to the bone.
No, don't say anything insulting. Say nice things. I prefer nice things.
You know what actually might incentivize them to do it is if they said not nice things in there, and then Joseph Roberts had to read them, and we got to see what it looked like when you heard the not nice things people were saying about you.
There we go.
I'm gonna go on that. Okay, but we'll only read the not nice things you said if you gave us a 5-star rating. If you give us 4 stars and say not nice things,
technically you can't do that, but
legally,
what do you mean?
Because then you're incentivizing people to give you a higher rating to get content on your show. So you could say, hey, we'll randomly pick a review.
Okay, we will randomly pick a review that says not nice things about us.
This is why we have
But
Mike.
the only ones that will catch our eye, because we have horrible ADD, are the ones with the most amount of stars. Because if there aren't a lot of stars, it just...
All right. Well, we're really excited about this new game. And I'm excited. That's all I got to say.
Okay, censored one. If you'd had that button on earlier episodes, we wouldn't have had content pulled
I'm
for
really
defamation.
excited about the new future. That's all I can think of is the
And
word.
we got a full frontal assault. We actually have an intern who's going to be posting content for us. So we're going to be getting the video up a little bit. Pretty soon, I think we're going to try and maybe go live on YouTube.
Yep, pretty soon we're going to try to get some followers. That'd be nice.
And that's the other thing. I'm posting content every day now on Twitter. Robbie the Fire.
Robbie the Fire.
What's your Twitter if you want to plug
Bong Rips the Book on Twitter, Instagram, and Venmo.
Mike the Chin, you wanna plug your Twitter there?
Yeah, I'm at the chin _ on Twitter. And then recently what I've been doing is just for some of the off-network podcasts, I'll just take a screenshot of me listening to it, give a 1-sentence review of the episode, post it on my Instagram story at the Chin Turn. So check that out.
Is the review just ever like total garbage and then a post of it? Or you're nicer than that? You're looking to support.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't listen to shit content, but I did listen to a project Davidson Boswell put out earlier today that I'm gonna review tomorrow, and I don't think it's gonna be that nice.
The Buzz.
I like him. That's why I spent the hour or something listening to his new show. I don't know. I got kind of bored of the concept like 2-3 minutes in. It's actually something Robbie had talked about a while back.
Oh, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, dog.
More people are ripping off my ideas?
What the fuck?
So apparently he's been working on this for like a whole year now. Him and this girl whose name I cannot remember right now. They went and they did like 2 to 3 minutes of fake podcast, riffing on popular podcasts of today. So like their horror, true crime one talking about murderers.
All right, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain what my idea was. We didn't execute on it because I'm lazy. But I wanted to do like the failed comedy, the failed pilots of like a fake network, and it was supposed to be like people pitching the ideas and then like brief, basically like brief content that was a train wreck. So the best idea I had was like Serial is the most popular podcast, and Law and Order SVU is like the most popular of the Law and Orders. So I figured we could do a podcast called Serial Rapist. I kind of blew the joke, but you get it. Anyways, the other thing is I'm on Twitter. I'm posting at Robbie the Fire. The other thing is I'm posting jokes. I kind of... There's going to be some crossover between the content I post on Twitter and then what we do on the podcast. But I view it like a jam band, man. I don't think it's repetitive. I think like you float the idea on Twitter, you riff on it on the podcast. It's always different. What do you think, Mike Harrington?
I have watched way too many comedians get up on stage and tell a joke that I saw them post earlier in the day on Twitter for me to get mad at that.
You mean, like, to you it's fair play? I feel like it's like a jam band. Like, The Dead, when you hear something that they did in studio, it's different than when they did it live, and it's different when they do it a year later live. It's always like they're mixing it up.
Yeah, I'm not co-signing your jam band bullshit, but I will tell you that, yeah, if you have a funny idea, bring it to the table with other funny people, and it'll get fleshed out.
All right, there you go. Moving on. Last thing, I just want to share a little bit of etiquette. A friend of mine told me that this happened to him this week, and it's happened to me before. Like a dude kind of experiencing some balding out on a date, at a theater, and a guy behind him says, "Hey man, can you take off your hat?" And that happened to me once. I was on a date. I'm like at a theater. The guy behind me goes, "Hey man, can you take off your hat?" And I just turned to the chick I was next to, and I was like, "Who made this guy the official cock blocker?" I'm like, I'm here trying to block the patches in my hair so that we can have sex later, and this guy's got to ruin my whole spot. which is a great line, Harrington. But
how'd she take it?
She laughed. You know, she was a good sport about it. But here's what I'm fucking 5'6". A hat doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, I'm not a tall person.
Yeah, what kind of hat were you wearing? Like a black lady?
No, like a fucking baseball, like a baseball cap like this. Like what planet do you live in where you really think that hat is making the difference in your view? I feel like, where did that even come from? Like, hey, can you take off your hat? I'm trying to watch the movie over here.
You're looking at some midget.
Yeah, like what Harrington, can you agree? Like, I think if you tell someone to take off a hat, you're being
hat you were wearing.
You're being a fucking asshole. No, I wasn't wearing like I don't even know what the fuck that is. That's like someone killed a peacock and put it on your head.
Hell yeah, that's the kind of shit I'm into.
Harrington, can you agree with me on this? Don't tell people to take off their hats.
I think where he was coming at it from maybe was a respect angle, right? So like old-timey, you're going to a theater, generally speaking, people are like more respectable, they get dressed up, they're not wearing like they're very much the anti-hat inside
I wasn't
crowd.
in that classy of a theater.
No,
okay?
That was about respect. He's like, hey, Johnny Depp is on a boat here. Why don't you take off your fucking hat? Have some fucking respect. Take your goddamn hat off.
Hey, I'm trying to watch the Pirates in the Caribbean. Take your hat off, sir. Yeah, so can we all in agreement? Don't fucking tell people to take their hats off.
Well, I feel like
douche.
people that are confrontational in New York City are looking for a fight. I don't know. I never bother nobody because you never know who's crazy. You know?
Right.
Like in my head, it's like everyone's crazy.
Well, because
I might be a little crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When people fucking say something to me, it's like, are you fucking serious right now?
Right.
I could take my knife out and cut you in the face and be like, booyakasha.
I could
now,
be
now everyone knows you're a bitch. And they just run off into the night. Take my fur off, and now I'm a different person.
Is that your line when you cut someone in the face?
If you see someone with a big scar on their face, it's because they wronged someone and they're a bitch. That's what I learned from my Rastafarian friend.
There you go. Fun facts. Penis news.
Okay.
I got some good penis news. We haven't covered penis news for quite some time on the show.
We need a drop for that.
What?
Beep 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 beep. Penis news.
Harrington, can you get us a penis news drop?
I'll work on it.
All right. So here's the penis news I got for you. A billionaire diamond trader died during penis enlargement surgery.
Well, how are they enlarging it?
Okay, this pissed me off, but they wouldn't tell me. Like, and especially if a billionaire's doing that's got to be on the cutting edge of science.
Yeah.
They gave no information on what this guy was doing to enlarge his penis.
Well,
but now
they don't want to ruin the next one.
Yeah, because they're still selling billionaires on that. This is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what bothered me so much. Classic. This was in the New York Post, but it's like the guy just died. The first thing you have to tell me is he also had a little dick. You know what I mean? Like, the guy just fucking died. He was clearly embarrassed about this his entire life.
Honestly.
And then you sum up his entire, like, he's a billionaire. I don't know what he did to accomplish his billions. Like, he might have, robbed third world countries. He might have created the cure to cancer. I don't know. You know what the one thing I know about this guy is in his entire life accomplishments? He had a little dick. That's it.
I'm going to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
People who get plastic surgery get plastic surgery. And there's no way this is the guy's first dick surgery. I'm sure this guy had the biggest dick you've ever fucking seen, just chemically enhanced, full of fucking like plums and fucking nectar, you know what I mean?
So it tasted good too?
Tasted
it was
good.
A fruity cocktail.
Had a good purple color to it, a good hue.
Wait, is that good if your dick is purpley?
Don't ask me. I'm not fucking sucking dick if I can help it. But I'm telling you, this guy probably had a huge dick, and he died like Joan Rivers, just trying to get a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. He was addicted
to dicks.
To that big
dick
purple plump.
There's no way that was this guy's first surgery.
I agree with you. So here was a quote by a relative of his. He said, after living an exceptional life, Ehud, he was a Jewish guy from Israel. After living an exceptional life, Ehud will be brought back home to Israel as his final resting place. He will be dearly missed by us all, and he had a little dick. Quote by one of his family members. The other thing is, I feel like if you're that wealthy, don't you just like pay Asian women to pretend like it's really big?
I don't know. It's not fun, and you want to see like a black lady go like, ouch.
Right.
It's not enough for you to just be with some androgynous person
Right. You want to impress the people who are,
in the rap videos.
who really need a big dick to
Especially,
be
you didn't tell me he
impressed.
was Israeli. Now I know he's like, America, so great. I don't know how Israelis talk. Do an Israeli for me.
No, you were nailing it.
Yeah?
Let me, they like the,
This is Israeli open mic.
Yashar.
Isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, he's not. I was trying to be nice to him after a set because he said he was from Israel. I walked over to him and he was like,
He's like, I've killed children.
yeah. Did he say that on stage?
Yeah, he'd be like, I've killed children. Just kidding. They're not people.
It's funny because from you, that's not that bad of a joke.
This guy's my
Killed
new
it.
favorite comic.
Yeah, that's not that bad. No,
It's scary because it's true.
he goes like, other men, not men. But like, I'm doing him like Russian. But he has that joke. He goes, but no, I was one of the men. Like,
We got to get him in here now.
yeah. All right.
Son
So,
of a bitch.
as long as we're on the topic of Israel, this was a crazy story this past week. It was 2 years ago. You ready? This guy, Palestinian, claimed to be Jewish, had sex with the lady,
Wait, this is
and
the same
now
guy?
no, this is the new story from Israel. Is now in jail, guilty of rape deception.
Yeah, that's a thing now. Don't lie to people. I don't know. I never got that. It's like, what are you gonna do? Just be like, yeah, I'm a millionaire and I speak like this, and then in the morning be like, hey, so that was great sex, right? That was fun. All right, I'm out of here.
That's why I've said it's rude to stick around after a one night stand. Why ruin what they thought their nice time was in the morning?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they were drunk at night.
So
They
you're
thought,
saying don't let them see you with your hat off.
yeah, exactly. You got to get out of there in the morning before they realize that you weren't a good looking person. You got to flip it backwards when you're fucking. Get out before the sunrise. You got to stay in dark environments. Keep the hat on. Get out before sunshine.
Gotta get those sunblocking
The rays. Like the good blinds.
good blinds.
Good
yeah.
blinds. All right, so here was the story. 2 years ago, Kashur met a Jewish woman on the street in Jerusalem. He worked as a messenger for an Israeli law firm, and like some other Palestinians, looked to integrate more effectively into Israeli society, so he'd assume the identity of a Jew. He called himself Dudu, a common Israeli name.
My name is Doodoo Brown.
It actually, that actually is a common name, but you'd think if you could pick any name, why, like, you could pick
Well, that's
any
how you
name.
trick someone. Be like, why would I pick Doodoo?
Yeah.
Doodoo is such a terrible name. Why would I pick it?
We're doing
I
the
get
worst
it.
Israelis, but I like it.
So that's my Pakistani.
Now here's where it takes a turn. On the same day, the two had a consensual sexual encounter in a nearby office building.
I mean, honestly, this just sounds like Israeli. How do you call it? Israel trying to fucking take down another Pakistani guy.
I'm just saying, like, if you go on like 4 dates and you pretend to be like a rich dude, that's different than if you meet a chick in an office building and then have sex in the janitor's closet.
Sure.
Like, you can't claim, you know what I mean? Like, you're not like, you weren't wined and dined and swooned and bought into some lie. You had sex in an office building 10 minutes after you met. Like, that's not.
Hey, they have a different life in Israel. They're all in the army. They're all fucking horny.
So, anyways,
they live right next to the fucking war zone. You know what I mean?
They're right
fucking all
there.
the time.
they're just
You never know when the bomb's gonna go off.
right. So you got to get your fucking in quick.
Fuck it.
What are we doing living here, buddy?
Yeah, having fun.
Not
killing children.
The woman, whose identity is still protected by law, did not know Kashur was an Arab. When she found out, she filed a complaint with the police, and then they got a plea bargain. He's going to jail for a couple of years.
I feel like if this was in America, she'd go to jail. They'd be like, "How dare you think about his race or ethnicity? You're going to jail."
That's funny. You mean like, how dare you? Like the fact that he's a different race and now you didn't want to have sex with him, you're a disgusting human being. You're making a valuation about people because of race. That's a good take.
Yeah.
Harrington, what do you think? Do you think that there should be such a concept of rape by deception?
I mean,
He's like, then I would never get laid. Like, what do you think I'm going to admit to this criteria?
you just took the joke out of my mouth, but yeah, kinda.
I mean, he's been walking around telling people he's the owner of the Gas Digital Network. Like,
My name is Ralph Sutton. I had a height reduction surgery, but everything else is great.
yeah, I get. What's his name? Kareem Green has a great joke. I'm going to ruin the joke, but the concept applies really well here. But he was talking about if you're a male and you had sex with a female who you found out was like post-op transgender. Okay?
Uh-huh.
So what would your reaction to that be?
I mean, if it was good enough to trick me, Who cares?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. I once felt up a tranny, and I was like, I want to know what science booby like. That's the best science has to offer. Like, you think I don't want to know what scientist titties feel like?
Yeah, I'm pretty open. I mean, if that's she's a woman, as long as she's not like, haha, I'm a dude.
You mean like right before you're about to come, like she like pulls you in and be like, by the way, that used to be a dick, and you're like,
No,
oh!
not even that. If she was like, by the way, I identify as a man, I'd be like, dude with a pussy.
By the way, even if like the hottest chick who was always a chick, original parts and everything, did that to me, right? Like that would freak me the fuck out.
Yeah,
if they were like, I identified as a man.
I would just say I was gay at that point.
I'm okay.
She's the hottest chick I've ever fucked, and I'm about to come. Yeah, I guess I'm gay.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like I kind of agree with you. It's like if between science and you fooled me, like you got me. You know what I mean? Fair and square.
Yeah, if it's good enough to trick you, it's good enough to be in love.
So Kareem Green's joke. By the way, Kareem Green is a fucking monster of a comic. Have you guys ever seen him live?
Yeah.
I have not.
Oh, you should track him down. He's like a veteran of New York City. He's been around forever, and I'm just saying, like, killing at a different level. And I'm not going to do his joke justice, but he goes, like, I guess his joke is with the transgender, like, they say that's not, you can't really say that. But let me ask you this, ladies. What do you do if you have sex with the dude, you think he's rich, and then you find out that he's broke? Yeah, you wake up in the morning, you're like, wait, you had no money? You're just broke? It's the same thing. It's basically what we're describing here of rape by deception. But I think it's a really tough criteria to throw on men. Like, I think that's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to just straight up lie to people, but I think it's
gotta hurt your ego to be like, yeah, I only can get laid by telling women I'm a millionaire and renting a nice car from Enterprise. Like, yes, I guess it sucks to be you. You
mean, what kind of a creep are you that if you hear this, you're like, oh shit?
I don't know. One of the good ones.
Yeah, Harrington.
Honest one?
At least I'm not raping.
All right. Now, I found this hilarious video of, I think, by the way, that this, have you done like a Chinese buffet around New York City? Is that something that you guys have frequented or gone to?
Honestly, not in New York City. I almost laughed in your face. Like, have you been to a Chinese buffet?
I've never been to a Chinese buffet.
Ever?
Never, ever.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, and that's not true. I've been to a Chinese buffet.
Yeah, they got the fucking lion sculptures out front.
Yeah, you're clearly lying.
It was like no, but it was more of a Chinese restaurant that, like, they have that one night of the week where they're trying to clear all the leftovers out, so they do the one night, like, all you can eat. But I guess you'd have to call that an all you can eat buffet at a Chinese spot, so it's a Chinese buffet. But I've never gone to, like, one of these big hall places that are 24/7 or every day of the week Chinese buffet.
That's crazy.
Well, I live an interesting life. What can I tell you, Joseph Roberts?
Sound like it.
So
my favorite spot to hit in buffets, crab legs. I go in there. As soon as they drop them into the little tin, I run up to the spot, take as many as I can on my plate, and
there you go. Well, that's what this video is about. This video is about a brawl that breaks out at a Chinese buffet over the crab legs.
Yeah! What the fuck? That's me, yo. I remember being a little kid and almost getting into a fight with an old lady.
For the crab legs. Harrington, can you throw me up on the screen? Here we go.
Let me see this shit. This is my life, and you gotta fight for crab legs. A fight broke out in Queens. Hell yeah! Can I get a big one? Yeah.
Just wait for it.
Oh, they're fighting. They're swinging on each other. Apparently, a large group of kind of.
I want to listen to the guy broadcasting on this train.
Yes, we are in the buffet in Queens. Yes, share this motherfucker. Stupid.
Okay, someone's got to give this guy Rogan's job on the UFC. I mean, he is the best side of a fight announcer I've ever. You could send this guy to people shopping at the mall, and it would be interesting.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm into it. Like I said, I like what they're fighting about. I appreciate it. Is that the end?
I am absolutely furious. I didn't hear him say the words "World Star" once. He keeps saying "Share this, tweet, retweet, like, comment, subscribe." Never says "World Star."
He's living in 2019, man. That's the past.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. You got to plug yourself. You got to plug your channels.
Everything I see on World Star's on from Twitter. I see Twitter. World Star's Twitter. I don't go on World Star. I ain't got time for that shit.
Yeah, it seems like Instagram's ruined a lot of those because people just go to their Instagram feed. Anything that you would have gone to like World Star for just kind of ends up on your feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like, Godfrey had that thing this week when, like, he was messing with the kids at the mall and, like, had them, like, white kids take off do-rags, and, like, it got kind of big on his Instagram, but then World Star shared it, and it was, like, a whole nother level.
Did World Star share it on Instagram?
Maybe. I don't
Wait,
know.
what mall was Godfrey at that white kids were wearing do-rags?
Levity Live. He was doing the Nyack show, I think.
Oh, and he walked around and yelled at white kids for wearing do-rags?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's pretty
dope.
great. Because he's like intimidating enough that if you're a white kid, you're going to fold fast.
From Lebanon.
He's like he's a muscled up dude. Like,
Yeah, he's like a 6'4" jacked black dude who's like old enough to kick your ass.
I guess if
And
you're
he's-
scared of those kind of peoples.
That's funny. Here's the other thing. He's like a sweetheart as a human being, but if he turns on the scary, oh, that's a frightening scary.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, I don't know how to fight. I'm not scared of black people like you people are.
it's got nothing to do with
No,
the
it's
black
more
guy.
size and the
Yeah.
blackness.
6'4" ain't shit.
6'4", but like, you know,
6'4", you know how bad that guy's knees might be?
260 and rip
I'm
though.
gonna fucking sidekick that knee in and then take it home for lunch.
Yeah, he's got real sparring experience. I don't have that.
No, I know. Joseph Roberts is kind of a badass, and I that's why I kept deferring you when we were watching the fights on Saturday. Like I caged everything with like, yeah, well, Joseph, as the only guy in here who's actually been in a real fight.
Well, I just couldn't believe he kept standing him up. That was fucking an awesome fight. The Tyrone Woodley, old new champion of the new champions.
What was that was a great fight, and then the Ben Askren fight, even though it got stopped early. My God, that slam was
That
so
slam.
it made the $70 I had to spend on that just worth it. That one slam had that unbelievable
boring, right?
A little bit, yeah. It was just
I mean,
kind
it was just like
of
a good fight, you know. It was like nice to see him back, but it was like
the most exciting moment was when you're like, oh, did he just disqualify himself?
Yeah, so I wanted
That was crazy.
I did want to talk to you about that because this
Yeah.
is something that like I brought up to Bisping and he was like, "Yeah, you're a pussy." You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like for even having this thought. But my thought is, John Jones is a known fucking cheater. The guy's gotten caught with more steroids. He hit a pregnant lady with his car, hit and run, went to jail for it. Like the guy is a known cheater and scumbag in every stretch of the word. If one person deserves to lose his title by disqualification, it's got to be him, right?
oh, come on.
Like, how do you not just sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to take the win and the $1 million in the rematch? Fuck this cheater.
I think
probably didn't even think of that.
I think losing by disqualification, especially when in a fight, you're just kind of in the moment. I get that some people are fighting cheap, but if it's like a one-time thing in one fight, like if you do something like 3 times in a fight, I kind of get like let's say you poke someone in the eye and then they warn you. You poke them in the eye again, they warn you, and then you do it a 3rd time. I get like, hey, you're disqualified.
Well, he did
Let
try.
me just finish what I'm saying. I think if you disqualify yourself in a fight, it should be a no contest. It shouldn't be a lost belt and a loss. You know, like, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. In a certain case, like if it was considered an accidental foul, that might be the case. I've seen that happen before. I've seen it go to the judges' scorecards on some of them.
Can we pull it up?
In this instance, it was deemed by Herb Dean an intentional foul.
Right.
He was knowingly trying to harm his opponent illegally, and he'd already attempted it once in that round when Smith
With the
was
kick.
flat on his back, and
Yeah.
he blocked it
Well,
with his arms.
the
Or else it
kick-
would have been an auto DQ.
The kick was worse than the knee because the knee, they have that problem where it's still a somewhat ambiguous rule of the 1 hand down or the 2 hands down. And so in this case, he only had the 1 hand. He had 1 hand down, and I believe in some states that's okay to then knee
In
it down.
most fights now, yeah.
Right. So the fact that it's a ambiguous rule doesn't make it as flagrant as like if it was 2 hands down and you kicked a guy in the head kind of thing.
I hear you. I'm just saying, like in this instance, it's the one fighter I would be.
You mean
Yeah, sure.
Because we're all kind of rooting. We're all somewhat rooting against John Jones, but yet, even though I hate the guy, what I hate him the most for was in the Daniel Cormier, because he left us with the question of, is Daniel Cormier the best or not the best? Because he went in there and he destroyed Daniel Cormier, and we all love Daniel Cormier. Like in that fight, I was 100% rooting for Daniel Cormier, and you watched your hero, who you thought was going to finally get the upset on John Jones, lose, but then you found out John Jones cheated, and then John Jones couldn't fight anymore, and you're like, every time you watch Cormier, you had to be like, am I really watching the champ here?
Did John Jones even cheat? They fucking determined that.
No,
they're
on
not
that
gonna-
one, he did for sure.
they determined the amount that he took was like not enough.
That was the time that they just let him refight, not the Cormier one.
So for the Cormier one, he did get popped for steroids. What they eventually came back and said was that it was a tainted supplement, so
Right.
he didn't knowingly cheat.
It was tainted cocaine.
It's all horseshit, dog.
Yeah.
He's been cheating his whole career.
I don't know, man.
He's a cheater.
He's got freak genes. You know, he's got two brothers in the NFL.
No one's disagreeing with
I'm
that.
just
But
saying.
he's also on the record saying, yes, I cheat because cheating works. Like he
Wait,
says
when
it about his in-fight style, and he says it, I would assume that would apply to his out-of-the-ring style.
I don't know. I think
Shit.
he's more talking about just like putting his fingers in people's eyes.
He's a piece of shit. I hate him.
He's one of my favorite fighters. He's just so fun to watch, except for last fight.
All right, well, I'm sorry to hijack it with all this UFC talk, Rob. My bad.
My computer just went down, so keep going. You were killing it
How
with
about
the
that
UFC
slam? That slam was crazy.
I guess, especially with Jones, too, he popped again, and it was like they said it was like the same pulsing effect that made it show up in his bloodstream for the New Year's Eve fight, which eventually got it moved to California. My point is, like, he keeps popping up with these, however many picograms tests and this, that, and the other thing. Like, I don't know. To me, you take the belt off of him from Smith's point, right? You get to fight him again in 3 months. Maybe, with some stricter testing, some stricter whatever. Maybe he doesn't cheat this time. It's a different outcome in the second fight.
Who's
Either
that
way,
benefit?
you're
So-
never getting a title shot again.
Yeah, it
Take
wouldn't. It wouldn't have been. Listen, you would be going into the second fight, basically being booed. What's his name?
Smith.
Smith. However, if you can show up to that second fight and beat the shit out of John Jones, like, you're a fucking hero. But the odds of you figuring out in 3 months how to completely change your game so that you can show up and beat Jones. I know that you got this hard on for Smith, and you think if he just pushed forward and fought his fight, he could do it. Here's what happened. Here's what happened to Smith in my very limited MMA analysis. He was hoping to do that. He took that fucking brutal sideways kick up front and just was scared because he realized, oh, this guy's fighting on a different level than these other people I was able to push forward on. And he made the mistake, which everyone does, which is if you stay outside of Jones's range, you're in his kicking range and you're not winning the fight. You have to step forward and try and punch with him because seemingly when it comes to actually just throwing, hands, he doesn't have the slickest hands in MMA. He's not the greatest striker. He's probably the greatest, like one of the greatest grapplers, wrestlers, fancy on throwing the knees and chopping you down with your legs. He's got an unbelievable skill set.
Spinning back elbows.
But he's not, if you're standing at just pure punching range and you're not against the walls, he's not like what Max Holloway can do or like what some of these incredible strikers can do. But people make the mistake where you think you're in that comfortable range where you're not quite engaging with him, and that's when you're taking damage against your legs.
I just think he's unbeatable.
Nah, he's going to go everyone goes down at some point.
Yeah, but not right now.
No,
Not yet.
I agree with Robbie. I've been saying for a while, I think the strategy to beat John Jones is to make an ugly fight, is to get inside of his distance and just
You
keep
got to.
pressing the fight to him. What I found interesting about Smith is he said with most fighters, they'll wait for the first punch to counter, right? So they'll try to slip it, they'll try to parry it, they'll try to do whatever, or they'll be willing to eat it to get off a two-piece of their own. With Jones, as soon as you start to fire, he's already like quick twitch, getting his foot into your stomach, getting those kicks to the knees, kicks to the side. So you don't even have a chance to get your offense started to get into any kind of a rhythm. Jones just completely breaks you out of that, and that's why he was turning up in his shell. I think in a second fight, knowing that was coming, you just throw caution to the wind and say, fuck it. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. I'm going to make this ugly early.
I'll say two more things about this fight, and then we got to move on. One is, I think John Jones was actually almost taking that as a practice fight. And I mean, once he was in there with him, he was like, hey, let me work on some other skills here. He wasn't quite as brutal or as an attack mode as we usually see from him. And he might have excused that to the fact of, hey, Smith's got this unbelievable, he's got an unbelievable chin. I just can't put him away. But I think he was actually taking the opportunity to work on some other skills, and that's why you didn't see as much of the kind of chop kicks to the leg and some of what you traditionally see from him. Also, I'm just telling you, maybe I'm crazy on this one. When I saw Jones first come out and the way he was just kind of jumping up and down before the fight, something just looked a little bit off and not as typically athletic as usual to me. I didn't say that while we were watching because we were just watching the fight, but like something about the way he jumped up with his legs he just kind of didn't look his best self.
I had the exact opposite reaction. I mean, I saw Jones like jump almost like his feet, I felt like almost cleared the top of the cage. Like, it was insane watching this guy bouncing around to begin the fight. And I remember thinking, like, oh, that's what I don't see out of Cain Velasquez anymore.
Right.
And it's what makes me think he's lost that, like, athletic,
Well, Cain, that was sad. All right, let's get back into the news. Sorry for all those who don't like MMA. For those of you that do like MMA, I hope you loved it. And you can get more of Harrington. He's the producer behind the scenes on the Believe You Me podcast, which, believe you me, does not need a shout out from us. So moving forward, here's a fun article I want to read for you. Ketamine nasal spray. They just created a ketamine nasal spray for depression. That's like a new thing. Like the fucking doctors at Pharma, they made some and I read that and I'm just like, when am I going to be able to buy that from college kids? Like how many years? And firstly, I like
Is it prescription?
It's going to be prescription, but I like prescription pills and like more.
Ketamine, I guess. I was thinking kratom.
Well, I like kratom too, but fucking, I've never done. Yeah, go for it.
Better question: how long until we're selling off-brand ketamine nasal sprays at gas station network?
As soon as we can, because here's the thing: I like
Knasal.com.
I like pharmaceuticals because I feel like, listen, it might not be my medicine, but I'm taking somebody's medicine. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel as guilty. Like if I'm taking Adderall, like it's great. You know, this is medicine.
Not me. I can't take those kind of drugs. Those drugs are bad.
What? You don't like uppers?
I don't
like
take
the
pharmaceuticals. I don't take any pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, you prefer some acid. You want
acid, mushrooms.
You like the organic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like
a scientist.
I like it if a doctor prescribed it to someone somewhere at some time. It's good for me.
No, doctors only deal with people that are dying.
K-spray.
What?
K-spray.
Oh, that's a good name for it.
Right?
I don't think they're going by that, but that's a really good name.
I'm just saying, tell me we couldn't bottle up.
Oh, I could sell K-spray.
Yeah, dude.
You ready? Can I do the ad read for K-spray right now?
Hell
Is
yeah.
it really hard to sell ketamine?
No, probably not. Well, that's what makes drugs so easy.
Do you want to see God? Do you have trouble hiding it from your parents? Try K-spray. The ketamine nasal spray.
But here's what I love most about this. So you would think whoever's working for like Pfizer is like the world's most brilliant chemist, but it seems like their actual strategy for dealing with depression, they're like, hey, what are the kids taking to feel good? You know what I mean? Like, hey, can we get some college party kids in here? What are they doing? Maybe, or like they walk outside, they go to lunch, they see like some homeless dude smelling a rat trap, and they're like, hey, let's see what's in those rat traps. Like, maybe there's something that people are getting high. Like, isn't it just funny that they're like, everything that was illegal, mushrooms, which were illegal for years. I remember hearing like the worst things about what ecstasy would do for you. I've never even really done Molly or ecstasy, but now like they came out a couple years ago with a study from, I think it was John Hopkins, where they're starting to test it for studying PTSD. The reason being that it triggers parts of your brain that usually you can't access, and like you can start making connections with other human beings, and it's kind of like electroshock therapy that you activate, neurons in your brain that you're not normally using, and then in your regular life you're able to start using it again. I read that article years ago. I might be totally misrepresenting it.
You don't think it's accurate anymore?
No, I don't know. I'm telling you, I read that 4 years ago, so my memory just might not be that good about the specifics of it. But like, that was something that they said was not just highly illegal, was highly dangerous. And then all of a sudden they're turning around, they're going, oh, we might be able to help all these suicidal soldiers with this.
Well, they need to legalize all drugs.
Well, fuck yeah.
That's what you got to do here. If Trump wants to make jobs, legalize the drugs. Take the money out of the Mexicans' hands.
Well, that's how you get rid of them. That's not a bad idea. Harrington, do you have a thought on what we were saying there? Oh, okay. So the other thing I just wanted to kind of get into was I was watching, actually, before we do that, this blew my mind. So opioids have been a major problem in this country for a while. It seems to be more addressed. You got people's lives that are ruined by that. So I saw that Purdue Pharma, which is the producer of OxyContin, which if you're going to, that's probably the best one. Harrington, you can weigh in on that. I've always been... Percocet's the same as OxyContin, right? Or the OxyContin's one above Percocet?
I mean, OxyContin is as strong as it gets.
Like, but it's under morphine, and it's under... in terms of a pill.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, as far as like something you're going to take, get a big bottle of that you can get refilled, I mean, OxyContin is the strongest one out there.
Right. That's the one that if you have and you're not telling me and Harrington about, you're not my friend. Get out of my life. Don't listen to my podcast. Go follow something else. So they've been making OxyContin for a while, and now as lawsuits are piling up, they're considering bankruptcy.
OxyContin.
Well, I guess Purdue, which makes OxyContin,
Good.
is thinking about, well, no, it's not good about that. That means all the victims don't get paid anything from the company.
Fuck them.
Why do you say that?
Let them go under. Let them make a new drug.
No, but that benefits the company. The company comes out as the winner here. That for years they made countless profits. The CEOs get to walk away with the paychecks that they made then.
Let's elect that guy president. He knows how to run a business.
You mean Trump?
Is he the one? Is he in charge of this shit?
Yeah, he is.
Oh my god!
Wow, you're really behind on the times here. I think that to me, these kind of things, it's also very similar to. I used to love the second section of the Wall Street Journal used to kind of outline what companies were being fined, and I always thought it was very interesting. A lot of these large banks, when they get in trouble, they have almost it's like no fault fines where they don't have to admit that they did anything illegal, but they got to pay a fine to the government. And to me, that's essentially a bribe. Because you don't go to jail, you're not in trouble, the victims don't get compensated, you hand a giant check to the government, and all of a sudden you're not in trouble.
Well, the government just only takes bribes.
Well, that is a bribe. It might be, a court-sanctioned bribe, but that's a fucking bribe. No one's in trouble. I think this also, like, any CEO that fucking made money off of piping out that OxyContin, like, then take the money from them and give it back to the victims. You shouldn't just,
Yeah, just throw them in jail. Throw him in jail.
I don't know. Jail's kind of weird to me because what does it accomplish? I don't really believe in
sex.
like butt sex.
You ever had butt sex?
Yeah, and that guy's got a fresh ass. He's been like bidets for years. That's a wealthy asshole. If anyone can really handle
bidets for years, just fucked up on OxyContin. I hear that makes it so you can't shit. So clean ass.
Yeah. Because he knew all the dangers of taking OxyContin, so he wasn't taking that. So his shits have been flowing. He hasn't been all blocked up like those other people. All right. So, anyways, I was watching Alex Jones on Joe Rogan. Did you guys check that out at all?
Caught a little bit of it. Wanted to save it for
by the way, does our esteemed intern, does he have headphones? Is he able to hear the show at all?
Yeah, I have it up in the monitors.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm just checking in. I want to make sure the kid has a nice time, so he knows what's going on. He can post some stuff for us. Yeah. So, did you watch Rogan at all with Alex Jones, Mike Harrington?
Oh, he muted himself.
You're muted right now. Just leave your mic on, dude.
Oh, sorry. I watched all fucking 5 hours of it, dude.
You did?
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the highlights, which what I tend to do with Rogan. It's the best. The highlights, man. While I'm home eating my 2 a.m. dinner.
No, so the way it normally works is somebody here would, just because we all follow Joe Rogan, will get the notification like, hey, going live with X right now, tune in. And if it's somebody really good, like we had Dr. Phil and Alex Jones back to back. I'm like, I'm not going to not watch the guy you made Catch Me Outside talk to Joe Rogan. Like, that sounds awesome.
Wait, you watched the Dr. Phil one?
Yeah.
Dr. Phil one was great. And it was
really?
only like an hour and a half. Yeah,
I always thought Dr. Phil was such a goof. Like, I was like, I don't want to listen to this guy.
That's the character he plays. He plays a goofball. But really, he's just like a fucking cool dude who played college football and likes pounding puss. Dr. Phil's cool.
He just... Wait, you mean that was just a TV character of giving advice?
Yeah.
Can you give me the real Dr. Phil telling me...
I'm Dr. Phil. I'm here to party.
Where's the pussy at?
Where's the puss? Hey, I wish that Cash Me Outside girl was here now.
What is Catch Me Outside? I don't even know what that is.
What? You don't know the Cash Me Outside girl?
No.
Oh, well, this is unbelievable that we're going to do this on the podcast now. She is a superstar. She was originally a 14-year-old girl who was brought on Dr. Phil because she was rude to her mother.
Everything has to be...
Oh, I think I've seen the...
Yeah, well, now she is selling out fucking arenas across the country.
Doing what? Just being rude to people?
Rapping. She's a rapper now. She's a fucking rapper.
Is her rapping any good? Can you play us a little of the rapping, Harrington?
Oh, I was just getting to the Cash Me Outside
Yeah,
part.
let's pull a little Cash Me Out.
I guess you can play me a little of Catch Me Outside, and then I'd love to see a little bit of the rap.
All right.
There she is, before she was famous. Smoking cigarettes.
So it all worked out for her in the end.
Yeah, this made her famous.
What you think you're doing
What you think
that
you're
contributes to this chaos and this problem?
I don't contribute.
I don't behave. I'm disrespectful. I steal cars.
This is so
I
old
steal a
hat.
credit card. I ain't gonna lie. There's no reason to lie. Everybody know already. Like,
Everybody already knows. And now
What do you
she's
say to
famous.
yourself that
And she has rappers like kissing her
gives
neck
you-
all the time on Instagram. It's crazy.
catch me outside. How about that?
Oh, great timing! Oh shit!
Why don't you take me outside?
Yeah, cash me
What
outside. How about that?
What did the mom look like, by the way?
Her mom's worse
Her mom
than
looks.
her.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, that's like she's a bitch. She's a fucking white, short-haired bitch. She's like, I'll toss you. I'll toss you again.
That all sounded attractive to me. Can I see what the mom looks like?
God, imagine if you fucking bagged her mom. That'd be so awesome. There she is.
Do you have an accent of some
Crying.
sort?
Tell him where it comes from. You know. From the street.
Oh, did she just call her mom a hooker?
Now she is famous. No, she was saying her accent comes from the streets.
Yeah, from hooking. I think that's what she meant, no?
No, she's just a badass bitch.
Oh, okay. Now, can you play a little
This girl's
bit?
like 15 and she's definitely banging like adult rappers.
She's
She's the next R. Kelly case.
Yeah.
Can you play a little bit of some of her rap for us?
And also find the video of Little Boozy, of her kissing Little Boo's neck. I don't know if we're allowed to watch that on air.
Okay, I actually kind of like this song.
Turn this shit up a notch. Gucci flip flops. Make a
Can you put on like the video of this?
Shake the wrist.
I just want to see her fucking 15-year-old tits.
This a big watch. Diamonds dripping off.
Oh,
I got big guap, pussy young, real rich.
I'm gonna get a girl like that.
Cars, 2 houses, and I'm still rich. Think it's sweet, 1 car, hit the kill switch.
Cool video, I guess. It's like a 50s family with David Spade watching it on a little TV.
This a box. Make a kick rock.
Yo, I suck drugs, yo. Yo, I fuck pussy, yo.
Now all the family is like all SoundCloud rappered out. That's pretty funny. I like it. Gucci flip flops.
That shit's outside of my culture. All right, so I want to, I want to hear Alex Jones talking about hallucinogenics a little bit because I found what he had to say very interesting, and then I want to get into personal hallucinogenic usage a little bit. And if anyone is an expert in that, it's going to be Joseph Roberts.
I wouldn't say expert, but I'm definitely an explorer.
Come on, who's got more experience with hallucinogens than you?
Yeah.
So here we go. Can you move to my computer? I got the clip here.
You have it queued up already?
I got it ready to go.
Ready to
I
go.
cannot go to your computer because when it shut off the input.
Oh,
so
no.
I pulled up the Google Doc and I have.
Oh, okay. So it's the Alex Jones starting from 108.
108.
108. We're at 109 right now. How crazy is that?
Wow.
Rogue intelligence agencies.
Okay, so what you're saying is essentially that they're using psychedelic drugs to communicate with interdimensional beings. All right.
Yeah, spirit guides.
Okay. Everyone,
Looks great.
Everyone who's done a high dose of psychedelic drugs has had this experience. So everyone who's listening to you right now, who's done DMT or done 5 grams of psilocybin, they know that this is you have some kind of communication with something else. The question is that something else inside your psyche, or is that something else a chemical doorway? Question. Is there a chemical doorway inside the mind that opens up, and the belief is that when you die, and this is what the afterlife is, that when you die, your brain produces these chemicals. These chemicals open up this doorway, and this is the portal to the next dimension. So you're saying that the government is aware of this, and they must be aware of this. They've heard enough people talk about it. They must have done experiments on it.
What do scientists do? They want to know the secrets of the universe.
For sure. And people that have the courage to experiment with these things and try them themselves realize
we allowed
this is
to
such
do
a
this?
profound experience.
I think so.
That it's so alien.
We're a little
that
bit
if an
before
alien
specifically
landed
what I
right
wanted
now
to.
in our parking lot, and
it's the next
a little
point
gray
from
man
Alex
with big
Jones that I
black
really
eyes
wanna
got
hear.
out. It would be nothing compared to what I've seen on psychedelic trips.
Well, let me just tell you. Me getting into this, Joe, is just because so people need to understand that I've known about this for a long time.
kids back.
And I just don't think people are ready for it. But a lot of folks who have low oxygen and who
All right, we can stop here.
brains.
Yeah, people can go and check this
Well,
out.
we can't stop here. What are we
sleep
fucking
apnea,
listening to this whole
big
thing
necks,
for?
big
What just
ass,
happened?
tongues go big.
Like you and me.
I was going to say
62% oxygen.
you can pause
That's
here.
another.
So what he gets into is that the phenomenon that a lot of people when taking DMT seem to have a shared experience of seeing aliens. That a lot of people take DMT and they come back and they report, or even people that have taken DMT in a group setting will all say share the same vision, which has some sort of a suggestion of the fact that when you're taking the stuff, it seems like you're entering maybe another dimension in which there is an alternative reality that's kind of flowing. It's in process, and there's like other creatures. Like there are other creatures that are here right now, like in this room. We're just not seeing them because we're in this dimension. But if we all took DMT together, we might be able to interact with those creatures. That was kind of the way I understood what he was suggesting.
So did Alex Jones take DMT?
No, but Alex Jones makes the more insane claim that because I have sleep apnea, I've experienced and seen everything that anyone who's taken these hallucinogens has, which, you know, that's just pure insanity.
Just because you're almost dying every night.
But, all right, listen, I don't want to, if you're listening to this, I don't suggest that you take hallucinogenics in any way.
I disagree.
I think some of the people working here might tell you that they've both had fun with it and that they've both gained wisdom by taking them. I'm not going to tell you that hallucinogens are a good idea, but I do want to get into this concept that he's kind of getting into, which seems really, really strange, that everybody while taking some of these chemicals has a similar, like, I would think if, like, in other words, you're just kind of activating your own imagination because of some chemical, it would be like a dream sequence. Like we somewhat, you know, you might somewhat share dreams, but for the most part, your dreams are fucking weird and kind of personal to what your imagination might fabricate. Hallucinations, from what we're all describing, is not, hey, my imagination just fabricated a pink elephant or it fabricated a dancing whatever. It's everyone going, hey, when I took this, I talked to an alien creature that looked like this.
Wait, is this the episode we're going to do DMT on air?
I wasn't planning on doing that. So the first question I want to throw to both you and Harrington looks excited is I'd love to hear about your experiences with DMT and like maybe creatures or aliens or that kind of things that you specifically interacted with. Mike, you're up.
Oh, okay. Just you wanted me specifically? I thought you were kicking to Joseph Roberts first. So the first time I did DMT, it was I didn't see any aliens or anything like that. But I did see like a doorway kind of open up. There's this giant picture of like this lady in Cuba in my living room, and like I saw it and it turned red, and then all of a sudden I was like an atom, right? And then I exploded into like beams of light and literally transferred like just the whole galaxy. Like the whole universe from the Big Bang up until this moment, I saw all of it, and it was super intense.
Now, here's what's interesting about that. In doing some research, I've actually heard other people describe having that same experience with DMT. So that's weird. Like that's a shared experience of some people doing DMT. Now, in your other experiences, any alien interactions or what they call the machine, they call them the machine elves.
I've never heard that term. That's scary.
Google machine elves. That's like a common DMT report back.
No, I mean, the only people I saw, and the best way I can describe it is, have you ever seen Watchmen?
No.
The blue guy?
Yeah, so Dr. Manhattan, like, when he goes to Mars at the end, he builds, like, this whole, like, landscape out of dirt, and that's kind of what it reminded me of. Like, there was this city full of, like, lights in the distance, basically, and it looked like it had just been, like, risen up by whatever the creatures around me were, and, like, created
So they call those the machine elves, and what they describe with the machine elves is that they seem to be able to manufacture machines, but it's not like from building. It seems to be from sounds that they're creating, and some people even think that that's like, you know, like angels almost keeping the fabric of our universe going, but they seem to like manufacture it in their own little machine elf DMT-like way. Now, I know that you're like a mushroom and acid guy. Have you done DMT ever?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I've done DMT.
Do you have any alien, machine elf, or whatever interactions that you can tell us about?
Yeah. Yeah, the furthest I've gotten was me and a couple comedians rented a cabin up in upstate New York. And I brought DMT. I get it in the crystals, and I put it into e-juice, and I vape it. Like I have a vape rig, and I had all that stuff already. And
Did
it's
it
good.
taste like battery acid?
No, it's not bad like that. You see, the bad taste is when you use the crack pipe or whatever, and you have to burn it or try to evaporate it like that. But this way, it tasted delicious.
Okay.
It's the best way to do it. And fucking hit it, and I'd hit it, and I'd hit it. And what I would do, because there are two trips on DMT. They're either the eyes open or the eyes closed. The eyes open, you know, everything's like, I'm fucking tripping balls right now. Like, whoa. Everything's like made of clay and 70s vision, you know? I remember one time I was tripping on DMT. It was like one of the first or second times I had it. And I was naked, like with Cassie and stuff. and I was just feeling my balls like, oh, I'm so glad I got my balls. You know, I was just rubbing them. It felt like fucking, just like the most velvety putty I've ever had in my fucking life. And so the 2 trips, you know, eyes open, eyes closed. And this time, you know, I was like, I'm going to go deep. I want to go deep. So I plugged my ears. I fucking closed my eyes, and I was just like this. And I'd hold it. You hold it. You hold it. I'd blow out half a hit. And then just breathe in some air to keep holding half the hit. And then I just do it again. And just keep fucking hitting it. And I fucking got there. You know, I went through all the doors and stuff. And there were like 6 like beings, you know. They weren't like people, but they spoke, and, you know, they had personalities and stuff. They were like beings. And they were just telling me, well, they were reminding me how hard I worked to get my body, and like how much of a struggle it was to become human, and like how fucking hard and how long I waited to be a person, you know, and that to just keep working, keep doing my thing.
They're like, don't blow it.
Yeah.
They're like almost talking to you on a cellular level of like, you don't understand what the odds of your existence were.
Yeah.
Don't fucking blow this.
They were like, keep doing, you know, like they were encouraging. They were like, you know, keep doing what you're doing, but you got to do it better.
And now, did they like verbalize that for you, or was it more like a telepathic, like they just kind of managed to convey that thought to you?
Well, I'll tell you, it's hard. Because when I was tripping balls, I was like, oh, what? You know, I'm fucking talking to them like this. I'm talking to them like they talking to me. So I want to say I heard it.
Right.
But my fucking fingers is in my ears and shit.
Right.
You know? So I had to be some sort of telepathic because I was in a different dimension or something. You know?
And now, do you think that that was something like fabricated from your own, like maybe there's something within our own brains that if you're doing these chemicals, it kind of almost like, you know, like they say, like you got your lizard brain in the back of your head, and sometimes that's fucked up. That's why you're all anxious, because your lizard brain's overreacting.
Mm-hmm.
That I literally know nothing about these chemicals, but like maybe it's triggering your ability to communicate with like other sides of your brain where they're just like, it's almost survival mode where they're like, hey man, you're kind of missing the boat of like, just be healthy. Or do you think you were in like another realm and these aliens were actually like, hey man, I want you to know this information?
Either way, it affected me the same, you know?
Right.
I think it was more of like a reuniting, you know, of souls or something, you know, if you want to get all like weird or whatever.
I mean, we're already in the category of fucking weird, so.
Yeah, like it felt good to be home almost.
Right.
You know, but I took DMT a couple weeks later, and they were like, what
are you doing back here, man?
Yeah,
we gave you your wisdom already.
What are you doing? It was like too soon. They were like, what are you doing? Like, you're just doing this to get high? You're like, what are you doing?
Like, we were trying to give you wisdom. Why are you back here?
Yeah, they're like, you haven't done anything else.
Can I comment on that? I mean, of course I can. But Harrington, before I comment on that.
All right, so, and another thing, I was I was like super high as fuck.
Because I want to say something on that. Before I do, Harrington, I felt like you had something you wanted to say about interacting with the beings telling you to take better care of yourself.
Well, no, like I definitely did have that same exact thought process coming out of like the first time, like that whole experience, like I said, of like going from a single cell, right, the dawn of the universe, to everything that's ever been created. It kind of reinforced in me just on my own without talking to anyone that time, just how incredible it is. Like I once looked up the odds of being born. It's like legitimately mathematically impossible, like to calculate the amount of zeros behind like the one in whatever chance it was of being born, of like my parents meeting and having sex the exact time they did. You get what I'm saying?
You were
like
thinking about your parents fucking while on DMT? What's wrong with you?
No, I was thinking about like ancestral, like, you know, couldn't even speak past grunting, like Irish hill people fucking.
Right.
Like that's what really got me. And like everything that had to happen down the line of time for me to exist at this exact moment is absolutely like astonishing.
Right.
When I did a salvia, I had to remember that I was born. I did salvia when I was 18, and honestly, it was like too soon to take something like that. I wasn't taking it seriously. And I was fucking sitting there on my couch, and I just forgot everything about my, like, I had no identity. I was just a blank slate. And I just saw my friend over there laughing, and he looked like a fucking bear. And that was scary as hell.
So, based on what you were saying before, coming back to it, and the creatures being like, "Hey, man, we were trying to teach you a lesson, and now you're just trying to use this as a drug." I think, generally speaking, in my opinion, with some of these hallucinogens, they do have a lesson to teach you, and once you've acquired that wisdom, they almost kind of punish you for taking it again. And I've had that experience with salvia, where the first time I took it, it was really beautiful, and there was some wisdom imparted on me. And then the later times that I took it, I felt like I was in this demonic realm where you just entered this like area that people wanted to fuck with you.
We need to get salvia on the show. We need to get DMT on the show. that's what Run Your Mouth is going. We're going into a test out your drugs podcast.
Well, that's not the vision of what I have for the show, and that's not what we're trying to do here. But you know what's DMT is not something I had ever heard of up until I want to say like 3 years ago when Rogan was kind of talking about it, having used with Stanhope, and then it seemed to become a little bit more commonplace, and people even within my social circle talk about it, and people look for it, and now you got the research that's come out about ayahuasca. It's a little more standard. But when I was in high school and then college, like salvia was around, and I one time took like it was 100 times X salvia concentrate, and
wow.
I did it at my friend's place, and what people describe of DMT, of like, I didn't process it in this way, but when people were talking about crossing over to another dimension, I can look back and go, oh, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. But I remember I was outside of my friend's house, and we hit the 100 time X concentrate, and the entire universe went just black. Like, it was just black. It was black. I'm in a black room, and I'm surrounded by faces, and the faces are kind of the best I can describe it of if you saw like an anamorphic like subway graffiti art of like, you know, like a flute, but was also a face at the same time. Like, take that image in your head and now cross that image with like the old Joe Camel cartoon. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like that kind of a weird like graffiti art face, but I'm surrounded by, I want to say 30 of those in a black room. So it's just the faces, and they're just fucking laughing at me.
Yeah, salvia is intense. I want to do salvia right fucking now.
Just laughing at me, like I was kind of laughing with them, but it also seemed like I was like the victim of their laugh. But
right.
like that was of it. Like, I didn't think much of it at the time. I was just like,
how old were you?
Maybe 20, whatever. Like, I'm just saying, I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, this is some weird thing that my brain conjured up while I took this drug. But then when I heard with these people with the DMT, and then I was reading like Machine Elves, I was like, what? This is fucking weird. There seems to be like some other, I don't know. Listen, I'm just throwing it out there because I think this is interesting. If you have some weird DMT or salvia experiences, this fascinates me. Hit us up. G Mike, what the fuck's our email address again? This is your chance. Plug it.
All right, I'm like 90% sure it's runyourmouthpodcast@gmail.com.
2 hours of us gibberish, and you couldn't look it up just to clarify.
Well, he's up to 90%.
You're literally sitting at a computer, buddy.
I don't want to.
All right, that's our very confident intern, G Mike, here to help us out. All right, next topic I want to get into is I'm going to skip ahead. Maybe next week. I did want to talk about Mueller a little bit, to give the short version, because we're going long here. I don't want to bore people. Cohen, he gave that testimony. Did you guys watch any of that?
I heard it was bad.
Absolutely not. I heard he snitched on everybody, though.
No, he basically, well, that's somewhat true. What was scary to me about the Cohen testimony, and if you want to, I'm not going to play the moment. You can check it out. It's hour 151 in give me 1 second so I can just tell the people. The Fox News stream, if you want to check out their full version, they put out a 7:21. Go to minute 149 when he was being questioned. Do you remember a couple years ago when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl and they were talking to him in the post interview, and twice he plugged Budweiser?
Hell yeah.
Do you remember that? And it got weird. It was like the first time he did it, you didn't think much of it, but then like second they asked him, so what are you going to do? He's like, I'm just going to drink my Budweiser. And it was very clear he was paid and he was trying to get that endorsement across. Do you remember that?
I don't, but that's so badass.
I remember that.
Oh,
That
it was
so hilarious.
he was so flagrantly just getting paid for that moment.
He's like, I'm not going to retire, but I am going to drink too much Bud.
Yeah, that was basically what it was. And then when he said the exact line twice, you were like, oh, you fucking phony. So anyways, Michael Cohen, when he said things like Donald Trump is a racist and Donald Trump won't peacefully give up power, and then when you opened up the New York Times and the front page was those two things, I was like, okay, that's the equivalent of an endorsement. Somebody told him, hey, while you're out there, if you want to be playing ball with us and you want us to go easy, we need you to say the following things. And along those lines, so if you go to minute 149 in the Fox thing, they ask him, hey, did you talk to the Democrats before coming here today? And he starts getting really weird about it. He doesn't want to give straight answers. Now, it's interesting in the transition since the Michael Cohen testimony, and we're getting to the end of the Mueller report, is that they've said basically, it seems like Mueller's not really coming up with any Russia collusion, and now they're kind of switching gears. They're like, okay, well, there was no Russia collusion, but we've learned enough about this shit that we have to just run an investigation into whether or not Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Now, here's the thing. We know Donald Trump's a piece of shit. You can investigate anyone who's ever run. You're going to find out dirt about them. That has nothing to do with this idea of like, hey, he's working for the Russians. And you're going to see more of that over the next few weeks as the Democrats try and transition to some different talking points of how there's an ongoing investigation for Donald Trump, and it's going to have nothing to do with Russia. All right, that's all I want to say on that.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What?
So to be clear, what you're saying is, are they going to try to legally shift focus on him and
Yes.
make it so that, like,
The Mueller-
because of what he's done, we can impeach him on these grounds?
No, basically what they're trying to do, in my opinion, they ran the Mueller investigation under the guise of we need to take a look and see if he's colluding with the Russians. Now, colluding with the Russians isn't even a crime, but what they're trying to say is, hey, maybe this foreign power, which is our biggest adversary, is actually behind the scenes puppeteering Trump, and this is really a treasonous president. And so we need to have an investigation, Tim. So they run this whole investigation.
That'd be crazy.
Now, everybody that's gone down because of this investigation, they're not going down for colluding with the Russians. They're going down for crimes that either were predate Donald Trump or for lying to investigators. None of it, no one's been busted for, hey, you were colluding, or you were treasonous because of the Russians, and so therefore none of that's happened. But now what they're saying is, hey, look, we've had a couple people who have done really shitty things in terms of campaign finance laws or in terms of cheating on their taxes, and it seems to us like Donald Trump is really rotten, and so we need to bring all these witnesses back in so we can fully understand just how rotten Donald Trump is. There's nothing really, like, firstly, you can do that to any president ever, and there was nothing illegal about, well, you might have done illegal shit, but it's not like the illegality of being a rotten president. But you're going to see that they're going to basically take the moral high ground of, because of what's come out in the Mueller investigation, we now need to actually do a full investigation of Donald Trump and his character, and we need to get those tax returns, and we need to look at his finances, and all that, to me, is corruption, because that's essentially what you see in, like, banana republics when they turn on one of their own and they go, hey, we got to get rid of this guy from the Chinese government because the whole fucking system's corrupt. You just don't want him on the inside anymore, and so you're investigating him. That's what's going on here, in my opinion. This is over all your heads.
So, but no. What I'm trying to figure out though is what would be the legal grounds then to, like, hey, you're a piece of shit. We're impeaching you because you're a piece of shit. Like,
well, here, I'll read you the two articles.
Yeah, because like that's
so
what.
Here, this is from the New York Times. The chairman of the House Judiciary Committee delivered a flurry of demands for documents from the executive branch and the broader Trump world on Monday that detailed the breadth and ambition of a new investigation into possibly obstruction of justice, corruption, and abuse of power by President. Oh, sorry. We've been drinking margaritas with the HSR guys all night. You know, obstruction of justice, corruption, and abuse of power by President Trump and his administration. So none of this is collusion. It's obstruction of justice because of the investigation that they started with him under false terms. Corruption and abuse of power. I don't know where, he is fucking president. I'm sure there's corruption and abuse of power. Well, that's it. In the 2 months since they took control of the House, Democrats and several committees have begun scrutinizing members of the president's cabinet, his business, his campaign, his inaugural committee, as well as his key ties to foreign powers, including Russia, which tried to disrupt the 2016 presidential election. They've also laid the groundwork to try and obtain Mr. Trump's tax returns. So they're pivoting it. They're going, hey, we didn't get the Russia collusion thing, but there's enough here that like looks like corruption. Let's investigate all these other stuff.
How great would it be if what they finally catch him on is lying about inauguration numbers?
That's great. I mean, that's great. I would love that as well. Okay, and then the last thing I want to say about this is there's currently a gag order on Stone, Roger Stone, and to me that is bullshit. That when you have a court case with the government, you're not allowed to talk about it. You see the failure of government in things like R. Kelly or Michael Jackson now, or how many even the shifting tides in terms of the Me Too movement. Sometimes you need the court of public opinion to go, hey, this is going on in our culture and government's overlooking it. The court of law is overlooking it. We need you guys to go correct it. That shouldn't happen. Those things are criminal. They shouldn't require the court of public opinion. However, we see that there is a flaw in justice in this country that the court of public opinion does kind of dictate, which is also going on with Saudi Arabia with that Khashoggi guy who was murdered. The court of public opinion very much so will dictate the kind of cases and shit that the government takes on. So if you have a person who's basically being investigated for corruption, the idea that they're not allowed to appeal to the court of public opinion so that we can all basically look at the evidence ourselves and go, hey, what government's clearly doing here is corrupt, is ridiculous. They basically want to say, hey, you can't talk about this out there because we want to be able to have the final say in here and don't want to have anyone question what we're saying or doing. And to me, that, I don't know, that doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, it sounds gay.
I mean, if one person is not gonna be mad at a gag order, it's got to be Roger Stone, right?
Ha ha ha.
There you go. There you go. All right, another quick take, and then we're kind of pressed for time. I want to call Yosef here. Andrea Ocasio-Cortez.
They're gonna make her president.
No, I don't think she's. Here's why she's not going to do it. She made a mistake. We've talked about this before in the show.
Mistakes don't matter. Go ahead.
We've talked about this before in the show. Sometimes it's better to stay in the middle. Sometimes when you stay in the middle, you're not too ambitious.
Yeah, tell that to Trump.
People don't attack you. Well,
Trump making her.
Trump knows how to win, but sometimes
they're making her Lady Trump. What's telling you? They're on Fox News. She's always She's always what they're talking about. So they're making her famous. They're making her They're making her president. I'm telling you, when she's eligible to do it, she will be.
Is she's too young at the moment?
I think she's too young to be 2020, but they're making her president.
Yeah, I think it's 35 to take office, and she's what, like 29 now, something like that.
So she's got to survive 6 more years.
I mean, here's the thing, dude. Talk about overambitious. A guy like Corey Glover, who was screaming at the Kavanaugh investigations, that's a guy who could use the stick to, or Cory Booker, was that his name maybe? That's a guy who could use the stick to the middle narrative because, that came off cringy and he kind of sucks. This chick is flag planted from the start, and we're all talking about it now, her run in 2024 when Trump's going to be out of there anyway.
Yep. I'm telling you, she's going to win. If they keep this up, she's going to be the most famous politician the Democrats have.
Well, that's true.
I don't even know of any other Democrats.
So here's what's infuriating about her. She's got this basic tone of, hey, government can handle everything. We got to give more control and power to government. And government, they're the experts. Let's have government control the resources when it comes to healthcare. Let's have government control. And then while she's saying all that, she's now in trouble for, firstly, we're not sure if she even lives in the Bronx. That's a big thing where she's been claiming that she has residency in the Bronx, and it appears as if she doesn't. The New York Post has been on her case about that. By the way, this might all be sensational journalism that I'm quoting here, as I'm mostly quoting the New York Post. When the New York Post goes after somebody, when the New York Post doesn't like somebody, they are the fucking best at that. They have no shame in terms of being, hey, we don't like you. We're going to write some fucking trashy articles about why we don't like you. They're the best at that, because they just own it. Fox News has also had some good dirt on her, but like I said, these are all coming from highly conservative news sources. So the first one is, there's questions about whether or not she even really lives in the Bronx. So what's funny about that to me is you're both saying, hey, we need government to create more rules, but at the same time you're realizing well, in my personal life, it's kind of annoying when government has rules. For me, I want liberty. I think when the government steps in with rules, it gets in the way of being successful and having a good life.
Yeah, of course.
But for everybody, I think that we need strict rules of government. Then the other thing she did, she didn't even have, she got fined for this. She didn't have worker insurance, I think, for an injury. Like if someone got injured, like working on her campaign, she didn't have the proper insurance. So while she's going to try and be out there creating legislation for why everybody needs to take care of their workers, she wasn't even carrying the necessary insurance. Now, there was other crazy ones. She's got all these environmental policies. They busted her on spending like an insane amount of money on Uber rides instead of ever, she never took the subway.
I like how just before this, we're like, yeah, they're just going to go find out the character of Trump is bad. It's like, yeah, this bitch is a politician. She's a 28-year-old politician. She's probably not the best person in the world. No shit.
Right. Well, I agree with yes.
I mean,
yes,
yeah,
you're right.
they're just digging into her.
But so here's the difference. Donald Trump, in some ways, ran on a platform of, hey, we need to less of the EPA and we need less taxes and we need less government in order for businesses to be successful. And that's been a big.
No,
that
Donald
was actually
Trump ran on doing saying outrageous shit and getting free publicity off of news. That's exactly what this bitch is doing.
That was a big part of his campaign, and you're right. I've said that I'm part of the problem as well, that Ocasio-Cortez has mastered what Donald Trump mastered, which is free publicity for saying crazy shit. However, in Donald Trump's presidency, he did roll back taxes. He did roll back rules against businesses, and he also rolled back the EPA. And that was a big thing he said was if we did those things, we'd end up with more business development and we could grow the economy. She's rolling on a premise of, hey, we need government to start legislating these things, while in her personal life, not utilizing it. Like, just fucking, instead of taking the subway, she's spending, I think she spent like 20 or 40 or like some crazy amount of money on Uber rides.
Do you think in the next election that someone's policies are going to be the most important thing?
No, nothing matters.
Me either.
Okay. Also, they were talking about that she was driving some crazy van. Now she's in trouble on a possible violation of campaign finance laws. She was going after hey, we can't have dark money or whatever. She had all this money.
I just hope they catch her pissing on a fucking mattress in Russia. You know what I mean? Just something real.
She was actually the chick who was peeing on Donald Trump. Wouldn't that be an incredible full circle?
That's something I want to fucking hear about.
Wouldn't that be a fucking full circle thing? And then the last thing. This was a great Post article. But her mom actually moved to Florida because she couldn't afford New York City's property taxes.
It's expensive.
Well, but the greatness of being hey, we need more taxes, and that's the only way that we're going to fund things, and that the idea that we won because Amazon was going to exploit workers because they weren't going to pay their fair share when your own mom moved somewhere to avoid taxes.
I mean, liberalism's retarded. We don't have to fucking split hairs here. That doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. Free market is what you should do. And I still don't get the whole Amazon thing. I don't know why you wouldn't want more money coming into your city. I just don't understand it.
So we're all on the same page here. We got the politics out of the way. Can we call Mr. Feldstein?
Yeah, let me get on that right now.
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah, I was hoping fucking Amazon would open up and it would a couple of drunk fuckers would come and make the creek their regular or something, and pump some money into there.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on, G Money? How you doing in there? All right.
Hand up, thumbs up.
Do we have any beers in the fridge?
Hang loose sign. We got a hang loose sign from G Mike. Hang loose, Rob. Get the fuck off my back. Slim pickings. Who's that? Is that him? All right. What's up, Yosef? This is me, the host, Rob.
What's up, buddy? How's Henry doing?
He's sleeping. He's probably gonna wake up
Give me
in
a favor.
5 minutes.
Put the phone up to Henry's. Put the phone up to Henry's face, and let me talk to Henry.
Joseph Roberts wants to talk to Henry. Can he talk to Henry? I mean, we're all a podcast family here.
Of course, he can talk to Henry.
Is Henry
Joseph
your dog
Roberts
or your
here.
child? Who's your good boy? Who's your good boy, Henry?
Go for it.
You're a good boy, Henry. You're a good boy. I'm a good you. That's enough.
How's what is this? Is this fourth week of baby? Third week of baby?
Going on the 5th.
Going on the. All right, I wasn't too far off. How's it going?
What was that?
How are you? You sound tired.
Oh,
Do you want to go back to bed?
I might. I don't even know what time it is.
It's 11:48 a.m.
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 Oh wow.
Yeah, holy
I
shit.
slept a lot.
Yeah, you slept a lot, motherfucker.
So, Yosef, I got two important topics that I want to talk to you about. The first is
Let's hear them.
Okay, I've been eating, and I'm throwing something crazy out here. You ready for this? I have been eating a lot of granola cereal that you find in the health aisle at supermarkets, and let me tell you, that is some underrated junk food. You eat it, you got to throw it in cereal with milk. Have you ever experimented with the granola cereals in a health food aisle at a Stop and Shop?
You're trying to excite me, and you're bringing up granola cereal. What the fuck is this?
That's what I'm telling you.
And then calling it junk food, and then saying that it's junk food.
It
Are
is.
you kidding me?
I'm telling you, it's like eating a bowl of oatmeal raisin cookies. I
don't know.
And I like being lied to. I like eating a bran muffin and having someone lie to me that something's healthier than it is.
It's like eating a cookie that rips the roof of your mouth up. That shit fucking hurts my mouth.
Nah, that was Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch did that shit, and that was a great Family Guy when they got attacked for the Ruth Your Mouth. No, I'm telling you, man, fucking granola cereal out of the health food aisle in a bowl of milk is underratedly delicious junk food cereal. Harrington, are you gonna come to my rescue here?
Absolutely not, dude. You're on an island here. I'm sorry, buddy.
All right, listen.
It's a very small island, indeed.
Next episode, when you finally show up, I'm gonna have to taste. We're gonna have to do a sample here because you guys are all gonna agree with me. I promise you, I'm not wrong on this.
All right, so we'll do that.
I'll
do golden.
I've eaten granola cereal. I've done it. It's not exciting.
Well, then you haven't done it recently.
Not junk food.
And you didn't get it out of the fucking health food aisle. I like this confidence out of you, though.
Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll do the goldfish
you're a
and
fucking
milk.
mess.
Maybe you're right. Okay. Now, before I move on to the last topic of today's podcast, do you have any food tips you want to throw out there for the fans? Any recent, discoveries?
No, I'm just scraping by.
Hey, do you mind
eating? I'm like foraging.
You mean because there's no time to shop?
I don't know. Just eating whatever is there. There's no real.
Nothing too
it's
exciting.
not like I'm eating exciting granola cereal or anything.
Right. I got you. You don't have time to explore the health food aisle at Key Foods.
Hey, Yosef.
Yeah.
Can you bring us some breast milk next time you come into the studio?
Oh, please don't. Please don't. Let's not do that bit.
That's a bit?
It's not even a bit.
You didn't even want to do it on air. You just wanted a little breast milk.
Yeah, I forgot we were recording for a minute. I was just hoping we could get a.
Is that a real question? Have you tried somebody's breast milk?
I'm dying to.
Well,
some Jewish breast milk.
It's actually really it's really good on health
on tap.
food.
Only if it's
granola.
on tap. It's only good on tap. Once it's been in the refrigerator, it's no good anymore.
I want it chilled over ice.
Would you do that for Joseph Roberts? We're all family here.
Only if he eats it over granola cereal.
Okay. Yeah, fine.
No, I want to see him go straight. Over granola
you
cereal.
said you want to see me jerk off. You almost said that. Did anyone else hear him say that?
Granola cereal's delicious. Even in disgusting tit milk, it's going to make it
disgusting tit.
It's going to cut it down.
Hey, that's an insult to your wife there, Yosef. I'm not going to stand for that.
I think your wife is a lovely lady.
And has delicious tit milk, I assume. Drink that shit.
Thanks for calling in. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about The Bachelor. I know that you're a big fan. An article came up.
That's my bread and butter.
An article came up about this season, and the article was well written. It caught my eye about the guy jumping the fence. Harrington, if you got something on this, go for it.
I just wanted to know about homie jumping the fence. It's the only time I've cared about The Bachelor in 4 years.
Yeah,
please.
that caught my eye. So first is, if you can give us a little bit of the backstory, because from what I understood from the article, this guy was actually, I think, a virgin going into it, and he's a pretty, he's a good-looking dude. He's pretty fit. So I'd love to hear a little bit of just the backstory of how they built it up, if he was in fact a virgin, how he ended up being a virgin. If you could just kind of paint the setting for us a little bit going into the fence jump.
Absolutely. So this guy is a former football player. He's retired now. He never really made it. But the whole virgin story is that he was a virgin because he never got around to fucking. Like, he was too focused on his NFL career.
That's ridiculous.
And football career to
He would have been better.
fuck.
You mean he would have been better if he was having sex?
Obviously.
Of course.
No. He would have been better at football if he was only focused on
for
football.
sure.
No, you lose testosterone when you come. You gotta keep it all in, or suck it up, or drink it, or something.
What? That's insane. I heard Michael. What's his name?
Irving.
No.
Strahan.
Fuck me.
Lewis.
No,
Jordan.
Just keep going.
Michael
Just keep
Jordan.
going. Just keep going.
Thompson.
Michael
No,
Johnson.
I heard Mike Tyson say on Rogan, like, what's the better thing, that you're just thinking about sex all the time? And he he's one of the best boxers ever. He's like, that's bullshit. Like, you're just better
That's
off. You're better off being focused. And I think such a driver for men is fucking, and I think that's part of what makes people be the best at what they do, is the motivation / the clear head of mind that comes from having sex. So let's just say that this guy had a bad perspective, and it's also just not true. I've been in those grooves where you're like, oh, I'm too busy to go out and date and meet someone. You're just being afraid. You just don't want to go out there. You don't want to challenge yourself. And he's full of shit. So continue. Tell me a little bit more about this backstory.
No, exactly. That's the whole thing. He had a very disappointing NFL career. He maybe had he was a tight end. He's probably had 10 catches his entire career, and he's 25 and out of the league. But now he's on The Bachelor. He's the Bachelor. He was down to the final 5 in the Bachelorette last year, and that's how you become the Bachelor. And so right before this fence jump, dude is down to his last 3 girls. And when it gets down to 3, that's when traditionally on The Bachelor and Bachelorette, they go to the fantasy suite. I think I brought this up to you before.
You did.
Yeah. So the fantasy suite is basically code word for that's when they fuck, when it's down to the 3 finalists. But in this case, this guy Colton, the Bachelor, they've been building up this whole story about
Can I ask
him
a
being
side
a virgin.
question? Did he get hand jobs and blow jobs, and he just didn't want to have sex with those people, or is he just totally?
I don't know.
They don't get into that on NBC.
Yeah,
they don't clarify.
It's not
what
like
he
they
means
get
by virgin.
granular.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just like this blanket statement of that's what he is, and they make the whole big fucking to do about him being a virgin. So it's down to his last 3. So he's with the first girl, and they go to the fantasy suite, and basically they say they didn't have sex. They just kind of stayed overnight together and had some alone time. Then it gets down to the next girl.
So can I?
And
I just want to stop.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in my opinion, I want to just float this advice out there for people in life. Don't look for perfect. Even when it comes to losing your virginity, you look for perfect. You look for special moments, and it's never going to happen because you put too much pressure on shit. And just because of that pressure that you're creating, you'll never really have fun. You'll never really be in the moment. You'll never get what you're looking for. The way that you do it is you fuck that first chick and you have an awkward experience, and then maybe the second night you have more confidence, and then you have a better moment with that chick, or 4 years later you actually find someone that you love. If you keep just kind of looking for perfect shots, perfect moments, it never happens. It's all about getting started, getting better at shit, and moving forward. The idea of standing on the sidelines until, just everything comes together perfectly, it's not life. But anyways, continue.
Oh, how could I fucking follow that up?
No, because you're giving it to us.
That's just such a great orator of life lessons.
So then he goes on the second date with this chick, and
then he's with the second girl, and he basically, after they have their date, and it's at the night period where they're about to get the fantasy suite card, she gets crazy cold feet. And they're in Portugal, and her father comes. It's just this whole fucking to-do. And she's about to tell Colton that she's out. She's done. She doesn't have the same feelings for him. So he sits her down, and she's like, I'm going to leave. And he's like, no, take your time. We don't have to. He goes, no, you're the one. Which is unheard of in the Bachelor world. When it's down to the final 3, you don't
That's why this
You don't,
guy's
like,
a fucking
pick
virgin.
one.
You've got three pussies
exactly.
on the line. Why?
Yeah,
You got to diversify
exactly.
the portfolio.
It's like he has three. He could. The whole point is you fuck these three girls or three guys, depending if it's the bachelor or bachelorette, and then you cut one of them,
Are they all,
and then you're down to the final two.
Were they all as hot as this one that he fell in love with? Because this chick was a smoke show.
Yeah, they're all fine, but she he's like, no, like we could take our time. Like this doesn't have to be. You don't have to make your decision right now. You can, like we don't have to, because basically she was saying like, oh, if we go through with this, like we're gonna have to get engaged like instantly, and he's like, no, we could wait on that, like. But you're the one. It's crazy maneuver by him. And then she still is like, no, I need to leave. So she walks out, and then he fucking jumps the fence.
So, all right,
and like,
here's where I respect his fence jumping, and even I was hoping to play the whole audio of the thing, but we're coming down to the time that if we're in studio, we'll get in trouble. So what I liked is, firstly, he had a bad strategy here. And that you can't open up to someone. You gotta be like, all right, you want to leave, you can leave. Like, this is not the way. You never want to have these open, honest moments. They never win.
National
They're
television.
sad. It's terrible. But anyways, God bless him. He keeps his shit together. He doesn't cry when she breaks it to him toughly, and he's clearly having a tough time, and he's shaking. And then they're just trying to get the cameras so that they can catch the moment when he cries, and he jumps the fence, and he's like, they found him 20 minutes later, and he's like, I'm fine. There was a bug in my eye. You know what I mean? Like he's just being a fucking dude about it. But then what's great is they get her in the car afterwards, and they're driving her off, and she's like really, she's kind of upset about it just because like, one other funny thing is like they were like, how did he escape? Where did he go? And they paint a setting like they were basically keeping the guy at the Bin Laden ranch, that like it's totally like it's that far off the grid. But what I love is like she's
they're on some like private resort in Portugal.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, like there's no danger.
Oh, because they were kind of playing it off. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But then I love like she's in the car and she's feeling all bad. They're interviewing her, but like you could also tell that she's kind of thinking like, oh, like me, yeah, I'm super hot. I'll be fine. Like. Don't worry. If anything, I'll get myself some feel better dick on the ride home. Like,
I think I'll fuck Jeff Bezos.
Like, I'll be fine. You kidding me? Like, I gotta forget about that loser. I'm gonna go. I'll go get some dick in a bar.
Yeah, she was like, I wasn't gonna get laid with this dude. He was just, he just kept on saying like, yeah, we have all the time in the world.
Yeah, I don't want that.
She just wants to fuck. Yeah,
I don't want that fucking sad virgin sex. If you had fucked the other chick the night before, there'd be less pressure on me. I would have had fun.
Ah, there you go.
All right, Yosef, we're coming to when we gotta get out of the studio. Well, we gotta get started a little earlier so we can get you on for more. But thanks so much for calling in, and hopefully,
thanks for having me.
Hopefully Henry will be old soon, and you can start making the journey in.
Yeah, grow old and
we'll
strong.
get there. We'll get there.
Mir Hashem will be able to eat some granola together in the future.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling very disappointed that I didn't think of some food items that I've been eating or actually eat anything to be able to trump your granola cereal. But
all right, next week.
It's just pathetic that I couldn't.
Next week. All right, thanks for joining us. Have a good one, dude.